like 15, 20 years, I can't remember when I actually got hold of it. So this is the handle. It comes with a beautiful handle that fits onto it. And the idea is to see if we can make this. Making castings go along. The suggestion is to do this in meehanite and not in cast iron. Normal cast iron, but in meehanite, which is denser and harder, and machine's a bit more difficult, but that's the idea at the moment. Apparently the cost between meehanite and SG is not so much the cost difference. The difficulty is just that not everybody can cast meehanite. It's a licensed product, so you've got to go to Wavell or somewhere to find somebody that can cast meehanite for you. But let me show you what it looks like on
these washes at all.
No. I don't know exactly what the story is, but you can't even look for it on the internet. You won't be able to buy it. Germany or anywhere. So let me just start up Fusion. I hope it starts up because it's got its own little. I'm not connected to the internet, so hopefully an offline will work. Looks like. Should it. There we go. Kom eens bij je data in.
Probeer ik cache online gaan. En doe ik altijd wijzen op ProWise.
Okay, so that's a complete model. Let me just go back to the design. We've got 4 bodies here. Let me switch them off and show you what they look like. That's the base, one casting. The colored faces, green faces are not machined, and the gray faces are machined, so you can see what machining is required. Most difficult is to machine these 2 angled faces here. You need some kind of a tilting head or a tilting table to do it on a machine. The original one, that one was ground. You can see the grinding marks of the big wheel, maybe 200 millimeter wheel or even bigger. It was got Pipette Venter. It's got 5-axis machine, and you can cut that with the side of a tool. You can cut that face very accurately. I've seen it cuts gears like that way, and that's simpler than cutting a big gear. You cut it with the side of the cutter.
Maybe if you try and learn how to scrape or something.
Pardon?
If you try and learn how to scrape.
Well, we're trying to get around those kind of skills.
No, that's
we use a more accurate machine, and we don't have to scrape.
I've been fascinated by scraping for a while now. Just can't get my head around it. But
there is a surface that is scraped. I'll show you now. The next part. These surfaces are not scraped. They just ground. You can have a look. There's the real thing, so you can have a look later. I just want to show you these holes here. Those 4 holes are for tying the next part, which is the top. I'll switch it on. You can no, it's not that one. This one here. That sits on top, and that is bolted onto the bottom from the bottom. And these 4 holes are for those 8mm cap screws. And these 2 holes here, that one and this one, they've got 2 spring pins in, big spring pins to lock it in position. So you can't just unscrew it, it still sits, you have to really pull them out, pull them apart. or knock those pins out from below. Let me just turn it around. You can see from below you've got a cap screw going in there, and there, and there, and there. And here you've just got a spring pin that goes into this hole, and a spring pin that goes into this hole. So, so once at least one with the top, it looks like one's complete unit. At the end, you'll see that when we put it in, there's where the screw goes in, and that's for oiling the boss here. And that is thread is into the cast iron here. So if I just show the slide for a while, that is the sliding part. Casting, one casting, and it's machined here or ground here and ground on these faces. This part is ground but also scraped. I don't know why they scraped it really, but that one is scraped. If you want to do some scraping, you can do that.
I've been fascinated by it. I mean, it's amazing to see some of the YouTube videos, you know, what sort of enormous accuracy they get by scraping. Okay, that's probably why I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I think scraping is really, to get space for the oil. When you've got moving surfaces, one of the surfaces normally gets scraped and the other surface not, in order to make space for the oil. But in this case, they haven't done it. The sliding, this part, there's no mark on it. It's not. It's just. I think I'm wrong in saying that on the base here. There are some grinding marks here. It's maybe purposely put in with the side of the wheel to create little grooves for the oil to move. Whereas on the sliding, the top, what I call the slide, it's perfectly smooth on the sides here. Those are, I think, are really the ground. So this is the sliding part, and then of course we just got the jaws, which are hardened and are bolted on, removable, but they're just bolted with 2 bolts. Those are the 2 jaws, and then the screw that goes into it. That is I can't remember what the pitch is. I did measure. I think it's 4 mm pitch. I remember right, and it's hardened, hard steel, blackened and hardened steel. And the thread is cut. I don't know how, but the thread is cut. It's a square thread. It's not a tapered thread or anything fancy thread. And it's cut into the cast iron here. And there's no wear on that after all these years that I've used it. Take the screw out. If you look at the base, it sits in the base here, in between, but the top part has 2 surfaces at the which are wired. There's a slide, there's a locating surface here all the way, and a slide in between the, if I put the slide on, you see there's an overlap here. There's an overlap there. So along those 2 edges there, it's kept in position between the bottom and the underside of the top. And that needs to be accurately made. That'll be, so you can feel it there. It's so accurately made that there's basically no.
There are no gives in there, it's machined that perfect.
Yeah. It's actually ground. I think, they grind it and check it and grind it until they've got it right.
It's not a hydraulic process.
Pardon?
It's not a hydraulic process.
No, it's a normal one. Yeah, you can see there's the screw just going in, and of course this thing moves forward. The limits are the nut which sits here, which goes up to the front, and of course it hits at the back, and that gives you your stroke from the front to the rear.
Of that type of one. That wedge, what's it?
I think it's 20. You can check. You can check. I think it's 15 or 20 degrees. I'm not. Yeah, let's have a look. I'll send you sketches now here.
Just measure it.
But I can measure here. Yeah. Yeah. So.
So that the maintenance to further for this part here.
Yeah.
How would you do left?
Yeah, well, as long as that back part is securely bolted down, it can't pull.
No, it actually, there's no rotational movement. I forgot to say, these two holes on both sides is just to be able to hold the stop here on one side or the other side, adjustable stop, so that if you put a new part in, it's always on the same position. You find that on a number of devices. Just to show a little bit off with Fusion, if you can do an animation, I'll set up an animation here. If I run it, you can see the movement. And if we go to another setup,
That's about 80 by 80.
this is about 100 by 100. This size, about 100 by 100. The jaws are actually, the length of the jaws in this direction is 110, but the actual opening is about 100. On this, you can just see that there are all the different parts. You can animate that sort of easily in Fusion.
The nut is actually part of that set, or is it a new side? The nut.
Is the nut?
A new side, or is it all part of this?
It's part of the casting, but I think in our design, you know, glue it in and screw it in or whatever, fix it with a grub screw or something. Because you're going to have to, you need a special tap or something to do that, a special setup to do that in the casting, which I had in the factory, but which we would try to avoid. So we'd rather make an insert in bronze or something like that.
Yeah.
And put it in. Instead of,
An acne thread pump.
it's not an acme, it's a square thread. A square thread.
Ik proef wel kan een mensen bol gaan. Kan een